guys, thank you for being here today. I got Don and Cody with me, trying to get to understand a little bit more about what salesmen want and where they come from, who becomes a salesman for a roofing company, and how it drives them to do this every day and climb roofs and do the hard work and meet a lot of homeowners. So what's their passion, what's behind it? So some answers here today. What are guys? All right, hey guys. So we're here with Don and Cody. It's actually our first podcast that we do, so we're really excited about this. And again, guys, I know you're pressured on time. I just pulled you off your desk to come in here to do this little podcast. I asked you some questions, so you're not prepared for this. It won't be too hard. I promise. We'll make it very simple. But tell us, Don, what brought you to do sales? Why are you doing sales, and how long have you been doing it?
So I haven't really been doing sales per se in a person-to-person standpoint much of my career. It's what I went to college for. I graduated with a degree in marketing with an emphasis in professional selling, and I went into retail. It was kind of a natural for me. I'd been doing it my whole life, and I loved leading people. So I worked for Target and Whole Foods several years, leading large teams. Saw great success with it, loved it, but wanted to do what I was passionate about. And so I saw an opportunity in Monarch to get out and actually sell, which is what I was trained to do, but also utilize my leadership. And it really, I was motivated for my family to have a better work-life balance and to do things that would be great. And really, I was a little scared about it at first, because it's one thing to go to school for something, it's another thing to do in real life and to step out of your comfort zone. I'd been in retail since I was 15. So it was a little bit of a change for me, but I fell right in, and the training system here is so great. It really, anybody can do it, to be honest, but it helps me to utilize that leadership skills I learned in retail and really bring that in and be able to teach and care. And it also taught me the customer service skills you learn in retail relate to any job, especially in a situation where I'm hands-on with customers and clients every single day, and I'm able to really make an impact on them and lead them in the right direction and really help grow a company that's just booming. It's awesome. I think anybody could do this with any sort of background.
So you had no background, right? It's your first,
Yeah.
How long you been here?
I've been here since March.
So less than a year.
Selling since May, and dude, it's great. I'd never put pen on paper before with any sort of contract like that. So it's huge. Anybody could do this.
What about you, Cody? I know you have a unique story here. You've been in for about a year.
So a little over a year. So I actually have no construction experience, no sales experience. I spent some time in the Marine Corps. And I loved what I did there. And when I got out, I was just thankful for the opportunity to start here. I started, as training for a superintendent to manage projects, and really started picking up trash and just working my way up from there. And then got the opportunity to get into sales. And I've been doing it for 3 days now. This is going on my second full month. And
already crushing it, man. Second most sales in the company, all 3 locations last month. So that's congratulations, man. That's amazing. And your mindset is a little bit different, and we're grateful for veterans. We do a lot of things for veterans. The Roof for Troops program, we give a roof for veterans in needs. And you're military. Thank you for your service. We talk about this a lot, but it seems like it gives you an edge a little bit to have like the servant mentality. We talk about this a lot with John Maxwell's, and the mindset to have. Is that helping you by any, from your background to serve homeowners? Is that?
I think that's something that really motivates me. Getting to know somebody and then also providing a service that they're not used to. I've noticed since I've been here, a lot of other contractors, they kind of get a bad name. So whenever they see somebody who's willing to go out on a Saturday at 5 p.m. or whatever time, I'm gonna come right now. I'm gonna help you right now. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to sell you anything. I've been in sales for over a month now, and I don't believe I've sold anything because I feel like I'm helping somebody.
That's awesome, man.
And I think that's a huge draw to Monarch. I was always raised to do something you can believe in, do something that you feel like makes a difference. And people all the time, they have the mindset that the salesman is manipulative, and you have the concept of the used car salesman just trying to pull one over on you. And I think there's no challenge to do that at Monarch. The only challenge we have is to do our best to be the best person we can be and make a difference in our community. We all live in the community, and we are encouraged to be a neighbor almost more than a salesman. Your neighbor you call when you have a problem, and they come over and help you. And that's the same concept we have. When you call, I'm picking up the phone, doesn't matter when it is, and I'm going to help you. It's like Cody said, we don't sell. We're just helping. And I think that at the end of the day, it's easier when you have a long week or you do whatever to sit down at night and know you made a difference in someone's life. And I think that it's a great feeling to find a job where you can be fulfilled in that way and know that every day we are making a difference. And it really makes it to where you don't ever dread going to work. And I think that's a huge thing, because I think most people are somewhat unhappy going to work, whereas every day we get to go in, we get to make a difference in the whole community. And I think that's massive.
That's awesome. And I know that, like you mentioned, you said car salesman, like the mindset. But I know when I said, hey, what were you salesman? What were you doing today as salesman? You guys get upset. Like, I'm not a salesman. I want to help people. It's a weird mindset. And I love to hear that from you guys. You mentioned something about you going on Saturday, 5 o'clock, in the afternoon. So it's a little bit late. And the biggest hurdle for me is to create an environment for everybody to grow that is manageable. So work-life balance, how do you do that? Is that something that you guys care about, or you're able to manage that?
Yeah, I think you're going to get two interesting takes, because obviously Cody and I have really different lives, but I think that kind of shows a big diversity, because you're going to have a diverse workforce. So for me, I have a family, I've got kids, I've got a wife. So work-life balance is important for me. I came from retail. That's one of the reasons I left, was the crazy hours. I think that we definitely work hours here. I'm not going to shy away from that. But there's a difference when you work somewhere you love about how many hours you put in. It's not a dread. It's not a looking at the clock. I could count on one hand how many times I've been looking at the clock waiting to go home, because it just doesn't happen. Whereas every day in a normal job, you're looking at the clock. Here, it's really whenever the work's done, you're like, oh, I guess it's time to go home. I don't usually even look at the clock at that point. I just know when the work's done, I go home. And when you're making a difference and when you're doing something you love, you don't really focus on the time. We focus on being on time, but not really the time for leaving. And I think that's important. And we do get time. I've never been a time when you say, hey, no, you can't go do this on a Saturday, or you can't leave early if you need to do this. There's never been a time where I felt pressured that I couldn't do something I needed to do for my family. And that's a freedom that's awesome. And with that comes the responsibility of knowing that we're going to work a lot of times. But I think it does come back to the fact that when you're doing something you care about and making a difference, it's just like if I call my neighbor on a Saturday, they're not going to say, no, they can't do this. Or if they need help on a Sunday, I'm not going to say no to them. It's the same concept here. Cody was out last Sunday. I've gone out on Sundays. I've gone out on Saturdays. I've done repairs at night a long way away. Whatever's really needed, we're going to do that. And I didn't dread any of it. And so that's the biggest thing, is when you're balancing your life with something you love, your work and your life kind of become the same thing.
That's awesome, man. And when you have like that 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 o'clock appointment on Tuesday night, when you get home, is there how does it work? You have a magic trick for? I'm I'm the same way. I got kids too. I got two kids. And, is there something you tell your wife? You stop by the grocery store, or the jewelry store, or?
I think the biggest thing is, at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, it's balance. You just got to make sure that means some other day you got to do something right. You got to do something special. And I think also your life's going to be a lot better when you're happy. Whether you're working 80 hours and happy or 40 hours and unhappy, I think most spouses would rather you be happy for the time you're there. And so I think that makes a big difference. When you're not miserable at home, it's going to make everything better. And also it comes back to balancing your days. I don't think there's such thing as a work-life balance, but there is a give and a take with it. There's going to be times when maybe late December and it's freezing outside and you're not as busy. Maybe take some of that time to give back a little bit, and then understand that during hurricane season or during roofing season, there's going to be longer days. There's going to be less time at home, but it's a give and a take. And I think you have to remember that it is a balance. It's like an emotional bank account. You got to put money in the bank sometimes. And if you put enough in, when you need to take out, there's never going to be pushback for that. And you just got to remember to give and take. And like I said, if you're happy, that's putting money in the bank every day, when you're polite, when you're happy, when you're fun to be around, when people want to be around you. I've been miserable at a job before. Nobody wants to be around you when you get home. All you can talk about is work, and it's all just nag, 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 nag. Nobody wants to hear it. You want to say it, but nobody wants to hear it. When you get home and you're like, yeah, today was a long day, but I did this. I signed this deal. I was able to help so-and-so. I did this temporary repair. It's like, yeah, I brought joy to someone else's life, and now I'm joyful. Yeah, you only get a couple hours of me before bed, but at least we can enjoy those, right? So to me, that's huge.
That's awesome, man. It's awesome. Trying to find a way to make it all work. If you're from the northern country, I'm from Canada, right? So the winter, you don't roof. So they can get, sales guys or installers can probably have a different schedule. But down here, man, it's nice all the time. So you have to manage your emotion and your energy to keep it going for sure. What about you, Cody? I heard they call you the savage around here.
Well, I definitely see Don's side there. You know, having a family and like outside responsibilities. I don't have that, so you know, and especially coming out of the Marine Corps and not having any experience, really almost obsessing over trying to learn a new craft that I have no experience in. This is my first job outside of the military. And Don talked about loving what you do, and you're not working, you're not looking at the clock. I think the same way, you know. So whether it's Monday, Sunday, it doesn't really matter. Putting in the time to really learn and perfect something, and also going around and impacting as many people as you can is a huge motivation. You know, somebody else needs help, they have a leak. It doesn't matter what time it is, you know, they're going to go to bed struggling because, you know, they're worried about whether there's going to be huge costs of like interior damage, stuff like that. You know, if you can reach out and help as many people as possible, that's something that's a huge motivator.
Make a big impact in people's life, right? They're desperate sometimes, calling a lot of people, and then it's late, they have a leak. Who are you going to turn to? You know, so that's amazing for sure.
Yeah, I think one other thing that goes to it is also, I mean, you got a family at work here. So it's not just, there's so many people that call it, oh, it's a team, or it's the employees. No, it is really a family here, and it's a family team. So we do have a lot of team mentality, kind of like a sports team, but at the same time, there is family. Like if Cody needs help moving furniture on a weekend, there's nobody he couldn't call. If somebody's moving into their new house, they're going to call you. If somebody breaks down, they're going to call you. If they need anything, they're going to call you. And we can go do fun things on the weekends. And that's a great thing with this job is we have team builds. We go out and we do things where we get to build. I love golfing. We've had opportunities to go during the work week and play in tournaments and network. And we get involved with things like BNI, a business networking group. We get to make friends. So we make not only associations in the community that I go out on the weekends a lot of times with the people I've met in there, and with homeowners. I've been golfing with homeowners, things like that on the weekend. So not only do you have a better relationship at home, you'll also grow a relationship with your coworkers to a point where you never feel like you're inconveniencing them with questions, and you grow relationships, you grow friends in the community through your networking and through the job itself, the point where you actually through this job can grow your family and grow your enjoyment in life outside and in the community. Is a business professional, it's hard to meet people. I think anybody that has a full-time job will tell you they have the same group of friends they've probably had because they're not out meeting more people. This job, my circle of friends is just magnified. There's so many people out here you meet through this that invite you to things, invite you to dinner, things like that. And it's one of the few jobs where we're empowered. If a homeowner wants you to come over for dinner, I know Cody's had dinner with people many a time. We're empowered to do that. There's no holding back. Like, yeah, grow that relationship. That relationship will blossom. And it's awesome to not have all that red tape and have that you can't do this, you can't do that. No, be the person that you should be in the community. And there's not a lot of jobs that are going to empower you to be a better member of the society as well as a better employee.
Well said. Well said. What do you guys, you said activities, and it got me some pictures in my mind about the paintball activity. Cody, are you playing paintball again?
Yeah, I'll definitely be back out there. I'll go with a little extra protection.
This man took a beating.
Cody
took a beating.
Showed up in his short shorts.
Well, I got shot one time.
Yeah, one time in short shorts is not good life.
In the worst possible placement known to mankind.
Known to mankind, yeah.
We'll be a couple months before we play again, I think. You talk about culture. You know, we hear this all the time on social media. People talk about culture. It's so important. People want to work a place where it's fulfilling. You know, how important is that to you? What does it mean really? Like, is it like motivation? Is it people, the friendliness? Is it winning? What is it that makes you feel like culture is important?
Ask anybody that walks in the door here for an interview or anything. I mean, you're welcome from the front door all the way in. And you could be here for your final interview, which is usually going to be a ride-along day. You're in here for that, and you feel like a part of the team from day one. And that's huge because it's not fake. Every major job has some sort of cultural thing they try and do. They try and get the team hyped up. They try and do this, but it's all superficial. And I think here it's all meant. We joke all the time about drinking the Kool-Aid and being a part of the culture and really believing in it. But there's a difference in saying it and actually meaning it. And I think a lot of the people here, for the most part, actually mean it. They believe in the creed. They believe in doing what's right and following and believing in the dream. And that's huge because then you actually get movement as a company. You get everybody combined. That unified force is powerful. And it's a fun part to be of. It's like being on a championship team when everybody has the same vision and sight and everybody has that same drive. Even if you've never been on a winning team, that feeling is contagious. It's addicting. It's the greatest high ever to be on a team that knows nothing but winning. And so I think that's powerful in the culture here. Is it's a culture of winning, a culture of domination. And when you come in, you gotta believe in it. And as soon as you get that first taste, you're just addicted. And that's something you just can't replicate in any field.
Well said. Love it. What do you think about culture? Anything? I know you're from the Marine Corps. You have a very unique background, and we're learning from you every day, man. Your leadership is our servant again. You know, you're always all in. Whatever it takes, you get this. Is there something about culture is that something that you were looking for when you got out of the Marine Corps? Were you scared of like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm going to meet or I'm going to fit in anywhere? You know, because it's pretty intense and what you went through and you're serving the country. So
well, I think culture is one of the most important things about any aspect of life. You know, your home life, your work life, personal life, your friend group. You know, you want to get in a culture that really maximizes everybody, and being very selfless when you do that. That's how you're going to impact the most lives. I think when somebody has that standard and it's everybody is reaching it, you know, your limits, you have no limits at that point. Everybody grows, and really keeping it selfless. And I like to have a little bit of a savage culture going on where there's a lot
push-ups.
of
Don, what do you think about the push-ups in the morning?
You know, you say, oh, every morning we end a meeting with push-ups, and people give you the weirdest looks. They're like, what are you guys doing?
We look forward to this. Like,
yeah. And like at the end of the day, it's a little something, but it's a unification. It's just like your great sports teams. They all have a chant they do at the start, or they all have a pregame warm-up. That's our pre-day warm-up. Like some of us get to the gym really early and try and grind before, but it's not everybody. This is something we can do as a unified team to get your mind right. We always talk about golfers having their walk-ups and baseball players have their pre-bat warm-up things. And everybody's got that kind of mental preparedness. Soccer players have, a lot of them are religious. They'll pray, things like that. There's so many things that professional athletes do to get ready. We have our push-ups. Get your mind right. Every single person starts out the day. Walking out this door at 7 a.m., every single person has the same mindset, the same unified goal. And it's tough to be on a team where you're all separated. We're all over the area. We'll have somebody in Estill, somebody in Savannah. We'll be all over. But at the same time, we're all unified. And I think it's important it gives you an opportunity. Exercise is a great way to clear your mind, but also to reset. So we reset every single morning, and we're ready to go.
It's awesome, man.
I think that's exactly it. The push-ups, it comes from wanting everybody to get their mind focused. Like you start the day with a task. You know, everyone sits through the production meeting, they're falling asleep, and then it's like, okay, get ready to go. Let's
showtime.
Some push-ups.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah.
It's let's go, baby.
I love it. That's great. It's great to hear for sure. What is something that you say like you hate the most as a salesman? Something. There's a little bit of structure at Monarch as far as like doing some paperwork. Some salesmen don't like this. Sometimes there's maybe a 3-story roof you can inspect. What's the thing that you don't like?
Everything I hate, Cody probably loves. So that's just actually I think we probably both hate doing production sheets because it's paperwork and neither of us like to be at a desk. I'm not a fan of cedar shake roofs. That's probably my least favorite. And bushes. Those two combinations are painful.
Well, you had a little bit of pain there about 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, took a little bit of a tumble off one, but it's okay. I'm back and better than ever. It improved my golf game. I'm like the rookie of the year. I'm better now. Things have popped into place. But no, any sort of paperwork, I think that comes with the territory with any job. But I think you're going to find every good salesman wants to be in the field. We want to be out there affecting people. We just know we gotta do the paperwork to keep the company rolling. But at the same time, I'd rather be on a roof any day than at a desk.
How do you push yourself through like doing the paperwork? You know, you have a production coordinator asking you about the paperwork, data admins asking, "Where's my paperwork?" Like, is that a turn off for you, or you're like, man?
No. I'd rather them tell me than me get yelled at in the back end or me have some sort of issue. And at the end of the day, I think accountability in every form is part of being in a good team. I mean, I've been on winning teams, and that doesn't mean the coach didn't get on to me about something, but that accountability kept everyone in line. And I think that's a huge part is there's nothing – everybody needs a little kick. We have so many things going on. Cody and I have 60 leads in a lead book. That doesn't mean I'm going to remember every single time I need to get a skylight measurement or fill out a full production sheet. We could use all the reminders in the world, and that's part of the beauty of Monarch is there's never a gotcha attitude with it. It's not a written accountability or somebody's getting mad, you're getting written up. It's none of that. It's just if you care about each other, you're gonna. You know, how many times I've gotten a text from my dad saying, "Hey, it's your brother's birthday. Don't forget today," or "Hey, don't forget the anniversary," something like that. It's the same concept here. Family takes care of family. So I might get a text that says, "Hey, don't forget your production." I got a text yesterday from Sam. "Hey, please get your production sheet in for Douglas Zemke before the end of the day." I'm not mad about that. I'm like, thank God, I totally forgot. That's why I came back to the office last night. I was like, let me knock this thing out. But that was that friendly reminder to, hey, I got your back, but you need to knock this out. And that's huge.
I'm going to have to agree with Don a little bit about the paperwork and computers. I mean, that's probably my biggest struggle. And it's oh man, it's miserable. I like being in the field. I like going out and just being very active. And how I work on this is, you know, I'll tell a homeowner, hey, I'll get your repair estimate today, because I know if I don't, then I have to deal with that myself. You know, now it's not the paperwork that I hate. I hate letting somebody down. So which one do you hate more? And that's, you know, then I'll have to come back.
So you might trick yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody says I'm savage and I'm going to come back and do it, but no, I just don't want to let somebody down and let myself down.
It's just like the worst words ever. If your parent says they're disappointed in you, you're like, oh no.
You know he's waiting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you promised now. You told him he's got your words. You can't let that guy down.
That's the worst.
Down. That's cool. I like the mindset.
Over deliver sometimes.
Very good.
Force yourself into a situation where you have to be accountable. Self accountability is a huge part too.
Well, on the other side of the token, what is something that you love the most about this job? Is there something that triggers you, that gets you coming back every day? Is there a special type of homeowner maybe, or something that you really are passionate about?
I think there's a couple factors. I think seeing the growth of the team, like where we started last year, where we were at, and seeing where we're at today, every single person is a leader, and everybody's growing. That's something that really, really motivates me. And then how many homeowners do you meet where they have, you know, incredible stories, or you meet the cutest dog you've ever seen in your life or something? But every day is a different day. You're doing the same inspection, but you're meeting new people. You're seeing new employees grow, and just having no limits. And that's something that I love about this. It's not a job. Don talked about that earlier. It's, you know, you never look at the clock. I look at the clock and it's 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, what? Where did the time go?
Let the record state that Cody and I have agreed on something.
I'll write it down.
Yeah,
put it on the calendar.
But no, I think he hit both points like dead on. I know for like Cody, he meets a ton of people, especially in like Sun City, that are Vietnam vets, stuff like this, with his military background. That's amazing to be a part of that history and learn from them, and that's awesome. And I get to meet people from all over the world, people that have had all sorts of jobs. And I mean, he does too, but I get the opportunity to work with some of these great execs for huge companies all over the world that have rental properties here, vacation homes here. And I just get the opportunity to interact with these people and learn from them. There's so many of them that actually really want to share their knowledge. And that's for me is amazing, because I learn from my homeowners. And then the other thing for me is, like you said, growing the team. I love talent management. That was my favorite thing in retail, was that I got to grow people. Obviously, growing sales is a big part of retail and any business, because without sales, you're not doing anything. So I love being hands-on in that, but I love getting to watch the team grow. I get to mentor superintendents, grow future salespeople, and then see them perform under pressure. And that's fantastic. I mean, who doesn't want to see the fruits of their labor? It's like being a parent all over again. I get to see it at home with kids, but now I get to see it firsthand with the people around me as well. And that's amazing. And I think it's awesome. And the other thing is, I have a third thing. I just love educating, and that goes with my teaching. And I really get to inform homeowners with this. Homeowners make so many uneducated decisions, and I can say that because I'm a homeowner that's made a lot of uneducated decisions on my house because somebody told me that was the right decision. And so at Monarch, we're empowered to always do what's right. We may not be the cheapest. We may not be the fastest with something. There might be somebody that beat us once or twice, but we're always going to be the most right. We're always going to do what's right. And there's no other company I've ever interacted with that always does what's best in the interest of their customers. So when I meet a homeowner, I'm going to teach them the whys. I'm going to explain to you why this happened, why this damaged your roof, why you need to try and replace your roof at this point, or if your roof's fine. I'm going to be honest if your roof's fine. We're not told, hey, every roof needs to be replaced. Hey, you need to make sure that homeowner is gonna replace their roof. No, if that homeowner's right, the best repeat business for me is for me to come back in 3 years and replace your roof when it's ready, because I just helped you get a budget. I might give you a quote now, help you budget towards that, help you grow your family. And for me, I just did the right thing for you because I know I'm a budgeter. And if I'm told, hey, you're gonna have a $22,000 expense in 3 years, I'm going to start putting money aside for it. Sometimes that's the right thing for me to do for a homeowner. Sometimes that homeowner has a closing window and an insurance claim, and I can save them a lot of money now and really benefit their life and their family. And that's great. But the ability to educate my homeowners is just something that's great for me because I see the mistakes I made in my early years as a homeowner, and I'm able to really correct that for other homeowners. Even if they've owned a home for 60 years, doesn't mean they haven't been fed bad advice the whole time, or they have a house here and they're from Cincinnati and they don't know how things run in Hilton Head. And I can really use those opportunities to make them make better choices and help them make better choices. And that to me is so fulfilling, to leave and you just see the homeowner's eyes light up, or you can build a roof for them in front of them with a little display box and just teach them on how drip edge affects, how starter shingles work, because so few people take the time to educate the homeowners. I could give you a quote, or I can change how you view your roof and how you view your property. And that's massive.
Yeah, and what you're saying about education, we know it. You know, Cody and I talked about this last week. Like every Monday, it's Dawn's Day to give 5 minutes to everybody, and you unleash, man, and it's beautiful to see. I love to see you get involved with everybody, man. Always looking forward for Monday morning. Thank God it's Monday. Motivation. Oh, yeah. So a couple more questions. What do you guys think about is your worst type of homeowner? If you have a story about homeowner or something that you're like, what homeowners should not do when they meet the roofer, or just in general?
I mean, I don't think there's a bad situation. There's situations where you're taken off guard. And I think it's easy to put your guards up when you're taken aback from something. But honestly, I think that's what kind of makes the job fun. I mean, if I meet a homeowner that's like a challenging personality type, I know Cody thinks the same way. It's like a challenge for me now to make them love me. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times if that person ends up loving you, they're going to tell everybody, because that's the same person that'll tell everybody if they don't like you. So it's just a great challenge to see if you can really change their experience, because usually that homeowner that's really difficult, they're only difficult because somebody else has made it hard on them. Some other roofer or contractor gave them a bad experience, and they threw all of them out at that point because they were taken advantage of or they were mistreated. It's my chance to right that wrong. And that's the same training I've had through the years in retail. Is your experience is the most recent. So you can change a whole history of wrongdoing. And that's the same concept I have here is, challenge accepted. Let's go in. Let's make them love contractors again. At least let's make them love Monarch. But we can honestly change their whole mindset about it. And that, to me, it's such a satisfactory feeling, because that goes back to what I talked about, making it right and making a difference in their lives. These people have bitterness towards this whole industry, usually rightfully so. And I have a chance to make their life better. So why not take it for it? It'd be really easy to be like, God, I don't want to deal with this, or I don't want to bother with it. But I just have to turn that around. It would be way too easy to take it the wrong way. Why not turn it into something positive and see if we can make a difference?
So no bad owners, just the bigger challenge. So you bigger, you smile.
It's all on us. If we could make a bad homeowner if we want to.
What about you, Cody? You had a tough one last week that gave you a little bit. You called me. You were dreading going to meet them a little bit because they had a non-recoverable depreciation. They had a high deductible. Then you went in, Martin, what should I do? I said, good luck, because they said they don't have any money. They don't want to pay anything. What do we do in that situation? And you did very well to explain it properly.
There was a homeowner that they didn't know their policy. They're non-recoverable. It wasn't recoverable, so they had to pay a lot more money than they expected. Their neighbor had gotten pretty much their whole roof paid for by the insurance, and they were pretty much expecting the same thing. So their high deductible and then the non-recoverable, they were pretty upset about it. So going in there to them, and just explaining the situation, they were going to go with other quotes. And, we had already invested so much time doing estimations, meeting the engineer, spent 2 hours on the roof with that guy. And I really wanted to make sure that they got taken care of. That was something that was very important to me. I know that, I can manage the project to make sure that we take care of them. And I didn't want to see somebody else come in there and maybe mess that up. But outside of that, I think, there's a big stereotype, if there's a tough, picky homeowner, people they'll just say, oh, that person's crazy, or, oh, that person is, they're mad at everything. They always find something to be mad at. Those are actually my favorite homeowners. Who they know more than anybody else that they're picky. They live with themselves in their head every single day. So if you can meet every single expectation that they want, you just created a promoter. And now everybody knows about them. Their neighbors know they're picky. Everybody knows. So if you make that person happy, then you're doing good. And that's a challenge every single day. And I think that's, the picky ones. The stereotype of being the worst, but those are the best.
I think that's what makes us so good, though. At the end of the day, we're both competitors. If you can turn something into a game, into a challenge, who doesn't want to win at that? I think the worst thing you could be is not competitive. If you're just willing to take the L, or you're willing to just back away from a fight, you're never going to win at sales. So that's the most important thing, is you don't have to be a salesman to come be a salesman here. You just have to be a competitor. Because if you're not willing to turn around a bad situation into a fight, you're not going to win. And that's awesome. That's because not only do we win the fight, we just won somebody over. And when you win a person over to Monarch, that's how you grow the company.
That's awesome, man. It's awesome to hear, man. It's great stories. And I think I heard you say before, like when you look at your Google Calendar for your appointments, you almost wish like, all right, I got 3 stories, 12. Awesome. Well, more people are like, oh man, that's gonna suck today. It's gonna be a hard day. You said I heard you say the bigger the challenge, the bigger the smile about things. So it's an amazing way to look at things. And the other companies, they might look at it like a victim, right? Oh man, maybe I'll push this one later.
Yeah, no, Cody goes, good.
So you mean it's 3-story? Good.
I could do push-ups on that.
Yeah, there's a video coming.
Yeah. He's going to be sliding while he works, but he'll be good.
So one more last question for you guys. What you would say to, and you're pretty new coming in, not much experience, either of you. What would you say to anybody that's in the market right now to, something to attract, to have confidence to go into the roofing industry? Nobody really, we do a lot of interviews, right? We interview 60, 50 people, 56 people a week, but nobody says like, I can't wait to be in roofing. They're coming from different industries. So we're trying to attract people. What is something you would say to them that is a great industry, or what would be like a tip for new salesmen in roofing?
I mean, you heard my background. There's not a roof in that besides the roofs that I worked under. But there wasn't anything on top of them. I couldn't even walk on a roof. Cody saw me on my first roof. It was not fun. It was not. It's memorable. I will never forget it.
You never told me that.
No, I rained granules off that roof. It was almost my last roof. But no, I mean,
I thought there was a 3% chance.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to be Cody. You know nothing about roofing. I knew nothing about roofing. All you gotta do is come in with a can-do attitude. And I think the thing is that we put a training program in place where you're not thrown out there expecting to know everything. And honestly, the less you know, sometimes the better, because it's a lot easier to teach something new than to unteach something bad or to break a habit. So you have it sold before? Good. If you have a roof before? Good. We'll teach you how to do it. At the end of the day, I think that's what's most important is we're not going to put you out there before you're ready. And some people get frustrated at Monarch, to be honest, because the training program takes longer than they need. That's for your own good at the end of the day, because we're not going to put you in a situation in front of a homeowner until you're 100% ready. And we've brought in so much training. We've hired people to train. We've made these training programs so that it's fail-proof. If you put in the effort, you put in the time, we will put you where you're ready to be when you're ready. People all the time have complained about being a backup quarterback in the NFL for so long, but then when they get their chance, they shine. They just weren't ready when they got there. And it's so frustrating when you are a number 1 draft pick, or when you think you're a hot shot coming out of college, or you're coming from another industry and you were the hot shot. You want to walk up and start day one. That's not how it's going to be here. But it's just like a lot of your bests had to train before they got where they're going. You have to put in the time. You have to learn everything. We will put you in the place to succeed when you're ready. And that time may not be now, but it may be sooner than you're ready. Sometimes people get hurt. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you get an opportunity to jump in and fill that spot, but just have faith in the process. Trust the process, because I think that's the biggest thing I've seen this year is us working. The training program has come night and day from when I started, because we understand the process and we have a real process to make you 100% successful. So that'd be my challenge, is come in with an eager mindset. No matter your background, if you want to win and you want to be successful and you want to have a job you love, trust the process and we'll get you to where you want to be.
That's great. No, everybody loves to win. I think understanding what sales is, like for me, whenever I started, I've never sold anything in my life. I know there was actually some people in the office that didn't think I should be in sales because.
Well, I don't think there was a rumor that after your first interview that there was a 3% chance that you were going to show up for the second interview.
No, so there's no secret that I'm not the most sociable guy. So
I think that's the understatement of the year. The only thing he'd ever sold was his soul to the Marines.
So I think after realizing, everything in life is almost selling. And it's not to be manipulative, but leadership is selling. You get a room full of guys, and you want to bring the best out of them. Well, when you meet a homeowner and you want to provide the very best roofing system, that's selling. You're not doing it to be manipulative. You're doing it to help somebody. Same thing with leadership. So everything you do in life is selling in a way. You're selling yourself. You're trying to make the situation better. I think after realizing that, I kind of just fit right in and wanting to help. So finding something that motivates you, whether it be, your leadership or helping somebody, and just getting to that point.
It's not selling.
And really, I kind of think the opposite. I think, if you're motivated by money, you're kind of limiting yourself, because what you think, oh, I'll make 70,000 this year. You know what I mean? It's got to be something where you're helping somebody, because there's no limitation. You can always find more people to help, and then that really gets you to a point where you're gonna prosper.
Yeah, and I think Cody hit some good there too. I think the one thing you need to have I guess two things you need to have to come work here. You got to have just a relentless mindset about winning. You got to be so mad when you lose a job. I go by the same house every single day. The first house I got, first house I lost. And I look at what did I do wrong to lose that first lead. Huge house, should have got it. So I go by every day, just a reminder, just to make me a little bit mad, to know, like, hey, this is what you did wrong. If you don't have that mindset of wanting to learn from your mistakes and you're not relentless, you're not going to make it. You got to be relentless. You got to have that, and then you got to know your motivation. And I think money is the worst motivation. It's what makes the world go round, but it's not what has to make you go round. And I think you got to find out, for me, my motivation is my family. Yeah, I need money to make my family work. So obviously those two go hand in hand, but I got to do what's best for my family. I got to get up every day. You have to have some sort of motivation that makes you get up every morning. And if you are still trying to figure yourself out in life, maybe this isn't the job at that point. But if you know what motivates you every day and you're a competitor, then yeah, it's your job, because you can not only protect what matters to you, that motivation, you also can come in and just dominate and do whatever you want to do in life. But I think it is important to kind of know what you want. Like Cody wanted to make a difference. He's making a difference. He joined the Marines to make a difference. He now is a Monarch making a difference. Obviously, it's a different thing, but for him, he wants to make an impact, a positive impact on life. And I think if you know, even if you have a rough idea of what motivates you, come in. We will protect what matters most every day. That's why we're here. Know your motivation, come in, be relentless. And if you can do that, you can be a salesman. You can be whatever you want. Sky's the limit at Monarch. He went from trash picker-upper. That's a real position. Picker-upper's a word. He went through all that. He went through every step because he knew what he wanted, and he was relentless. He had that motivation, and he had the mindset. That's all you need, motivation and mindset.
So powerful, man. Trust the process. Trust the process that we put in place to grow. And it's amazing, man. And one thing that you guys, again, this is to understand salesmen, right? So kind of tricked you a little bit. I didn't talk about money at all, but you guys did not mention it one time, and we have something very, I would say, unique about, we don't do commission. So a lot of people would think that salesmen are motivated by money, motivated by commission. Everybody you go through, or we do a lot of interviews. It's so hard sometimes to find salesmen because they come out like, what motivates you? They said, well, I want to make a lot of money. So it's not the type of people we want. We want people like, hey, I want to help people. They're here to be serving. And then you run up the scoreboard. You've been crushing $1 million in 3 months. You know, we did over 440,000 last month, something like that. 451. I don't know about 451.
I'm not counting with 451, 65.
But it's your first month. You know, you guys are crushing it. It's unbelievable. But, you know, you would think in my shoes, I'm like, wow, I got to, you know, if you do this and I'll give you this, you do this. But it's not like this. I'm like, hey, what do you need? Let's find a way. Let's get you a salary where you're comfortable, can feed your family. And then just think about how we can help people more. And I think that's a mind switch for a lot of people that I think the industry needs to see a little bit more of. And I know it works for us here at Monarch, but I know it's unique for the industry.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much all I had for you guys today. Anything else that you want to share with us as far as your job and your passion, Monarch?
I mean, if you with that relentless mindset, just be ready to run off the scoreboard. If you want to come here, don't be happy to be a part of be the bottom. You gotta, with that relentless mindset, you gotta want to be the top. Cody's over here like Tiger Woods at Pebble Beach, looking down at all these people that are 8, 10 strokes behind him and just laughing. That's the mindset you gotta have. You gotta be the best. If you want to be that guy that scores 40 points in a game, in a basketball game, that's the people we want here. Yeah, you gotta want to be a part of a team, but you also gotta have that individual motivation to drive and to push and to be the very best. And when you're with that relentless mindset, if you get to the top, just because Cody got past everybody else by $20,000, $30,000, he didn't go, all right, 2 days left of the month, I'm out. Like, hey, taking the weekend off, I'm going home. No, that's what separates the men from the boys right there. That's that mindset to just push the extra mile. So if you're that guy, if you want to be the number one, you can be number one here, and you'll get rewarded for it, and you'll get to where you want to be. So
you get a belt.
Yeah,
and a buckle.
You get a belt and a buckle. And you get a
silver spoon.
Yeah, and it's a winning feeling. And I think an important thing is that you'll get recognized for winning here. There's pure recognition here. It's not some scripted recognition that's written in a book somewhere that says, "Hey, all team members must be recognized 1 time a month by management." No, that's not the culture here. We're not like that. The culture here is genuine recognition for what you do, rewarded for what you feel, and it's like when your family says they're proud of you for something. That's the better feeling than anything. Because you feel like you've done something to deserve that respect. That's what you'll get here, and I think that speaks volumes. There's nothing scripted about anything. This isn't scripted. Nothing's scripted here. Everything's true and emotional and real.
Yep, awesome, man, awesome. Well, say, guys, and thank you very much for your time. That wraps up our podcast for today. Hope you learned something about roofing salesmen and what it takes and whether they're real people and they're very passionate about helping homeowners. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening and being here with me today. I'm really grateful for you and your time. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel and click on notifications to get future updates. Thanks for everything.